and we were at the Rusty Dragon right now. Amiko and Kokoro have been disowned from the Kaijutsu family. Shaded Dress suspects younger brother Kaijutsu. And I think the rest of the time we were just role-playing.
Yeah, we were just role-playing, really.
More or less. There was the disowning. Shadris caught scent of the brother in the catacombs, the tomb area of the church, and so she's sus of them. There is also the fucking little teen gang that's running around. That is the ones that poisoned the theater troupe by breaking into Sola's shop, and Sola has some things she needs to talk about to somebody. However, last I checked, the tieflings were getting drunk by doing shot flights of random cocktails.
I wouldn't say they're getting drunk.
Y'all failed some of those con saves.
Yep.
Okay.
They're not gonna get plastered, but they're definitely
You can go ahead and speak for yourself. Okay?
Right, Miss 11.
To be fair, my first one was a nat 20, so in my defense.
Yeah, but that last one's not looking great. It's
not. Listen, the pepper one is strong, okay? I will say that technically Shadras does not have the brother Kaijutsu scent, because that's just confirmation that he's evil. She just has everything else except his scent exactly. Because she smelled the scent near the Kaijutsu family as a whole, right? And when she met him, as in was in the same room as him, and would be able to pick up his scent, was in the fucking backstage vomit theater room where she was smelling charcoal.
Sure.
So, she doesn't have 100% confirmation, but she does have a very, very strong suspicion. Because those fucking shoes.
Which she has, from what I remember, not shared with anyone, though.
She shared with everyone except Kokoro, because Kokoro left, I think. Or it was when Kokoro was away from the group, she asked about the Kaijutsus to Ismark. Oh. And Sola and Mesmine were there, and then Kokoro and Ameko came back, and then they all went to the bar.
You did ask Kokoro like a bunch of questions about the Kaijutsus.
But nothing to be overly like, your brother is sus as fuck. It was just a lot of interest that would feel a little out of place from her, I imagine.
Yeah, she's never interested in people. Like, ever. But she's showing a lot of interest here.
But then also at the same time, Kokoro has known Shadris for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So
not even.
We don't know each other. Is that?
Don't know at all.
I was gonna say, is that but Kokoro doesn't know anyone really. So Kokoro's social links are the lowest in the party.
Yeah, at the moment.
All right. So, Shayadres and Mesmine are having their flights at the bar. How would the rest of you guys like to close out your nights? Do you want to hang out in the bar for a little bit longer? Because Ameko will be slinging drinks and food probably as long as you guys like, considering she and Kokoro are going to be sleeping here. So they don't have shit to worry about. Some of you, however, have jobs. So
well, Ismark is going to, like, if it's getting late, Ismark's gonna put a hand down on the table and be like, "Yeah, all right, I should probably head out. I got a family to get back, and I don't want to be too late, because the missus will put me in a headlock."
Do let me know when I can come visit, okay, Ismark?
This is true. Yeah, you gotta get a play date in with Cece. She wants to see your fox form.
Yep. I certainly remember. Just let me know when.
Of course. Absolutely. And Ismark will throw however much gold and silver on the table. We'll cover his fair share.
Ameko,
gonna
as
do
you do
the-
this, as you put the money on the table, Ameko just immediately slides it back over to you. Just puts a hand on the table. Hey, you don't have to pay while you're over here. At least not today. Matter of fact, can I get you anything for your wife? I've got some baked goods.
Ismark blinks for a second, and then does like the frown whenever you're kind of making like an appraising face where you're like, He does that. Then he'll be like, yeah, if you don't mind, I'll grab a couple of those. It may soften the blow that I ate a couple of sweets myself. She's been getting on me about sweets lately.
That's because she's got a very highly regulated diet. You don't have to stick to that though. And Amiko winks at you. I won't tell.
Look, you're preaching to the choir, but I'll take some to go for the wife and Cece.
Amiko heads behind the counter and starts preparing you a to-go plate.
Hell yeah.
A couple minutes later, she emerges and hands you what feels like a pretty heavy to-go plate, to be honest. There's gotta be like a pound and a half, 2 pounds of food in there. This is not just baked goods she's giving you.
Yeah, like he opens it up and checks it, and we'll see however much is in there. And a little wide-eyed, but like, you know what? Not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth.
This is a varied collection of food. Not too much of any one particular dish. You've got a couple of biscuits in there. You've got some onigiri in there. You've got a couple of like fillets. It's a hodgepodge, but it will probably last you a day or two.
Oh, you don't say. Okay. Then there's a moment where Ismark is like, oh my god, I can't accept this, and then goes to protest, but stops himself and is like, this is a lot. Amiko, are you sure about this?
Don't worry about it. We're celebrating the debut of Sandpoint's variety show.
He laughs a little bit, and then he'll do like roll the bags shut, but the top is like to go bagged or whatever.
Like a doggy bag.
Yeah, and he's just like, then happy 0th anniversary to the variety show. May there be many more to come, provided we can get multiple shows booked. And it doesn't interfere with my guard work. He awkwardly shrugs and he'll stand up and quickly make his way out into the evening.
Alright. So, you are here with the 2 tieflings, and a foxwoman, and a not foxwoman, but proceeding to get more drunk woman. Would you like to hang around?
Sola probably kind of mentally started checking out because she has a lot to think about. Just kind of sitting there, like, pulled a chair close for Holly and, like, petting Holly, staring into the middle distance until there's something loud enough to, like, not startle her, but kind of jumpstart her focus again. And she will probably just very quietly exit.
Irish exit?
Yeah, pretty much. She's like, she's doesn't want to disrupt the apparent merrymaking that is happening.
So, we'll say that it's begun to rain, thanks to our lovely ambiance here. And it is, in fact, a crack of thunder that startles you back. As you try to make your Irish goodbye, could you make me a stealth check? And Shay and Mez, and probably Kokoro, can you make me perception checks?
This is not going to
Okay.
go well.
Dude, the dice rolls. You never know.
If I seem to remember correctly, last game I did not roll above a 10.
You guys are going to do great, it's fine.
Immediately.
See, you really are cursed, aren't you?
Yes.
Steps in chat.
Not surprised.
It's a big box. Tieflings are on to you immediately.
So, Solo, as you're trying to make your exit, John is walking. Holly is walking at your side, kind of almost the way that a guide dog would in order to lend support and kind of wait to keep you tethered to the present moment. You're trying to make your way out. It's a little hard, with an intelligent capybara, but you're getting there until you step on a creaky floorboard in a lull in the conversation. Now, Kokoro is too busy talking to Ameko to notice this, but the tieflings do.
Head snap.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, head turns to creaking sound.
Mm-hmm. Ah, shit. Give me a second.
It's okay. Take your time.
See, what you want to do is give her a line read.
Get out,
Clint
go away,
voice.
Clint.
Wrong game.
How am I supposed to do one when you're doing too well in the same... Stop it. Shit, okay. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Alright, well, sorry about that. This happened last time at Weird, okay? When it's been a while, it all collapses on itself. Anyway, Shadra's head turned to noise and spot Sola trying to do an Irish exit. Like, and she just turns and like lifts a drink, the tiny little flute. She's like, "Oh, thanks for saying bye. Have a good night, Sola."
Sola just kind of looks over her shoulder at the tieflings, and there's a little bit of, you could see in her eyes, I imagine, Shadris has known her for a little bit, that she is not present fully. Her mind is somewhere else. And she just kind of lifts a hand. There was no need for me to disrupt the merrymaking. Continue to have fun. Just kind of like gestures towards the drink glasses.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to ask, what kind of not paying attention / isn't like present is this? Like, what's the vibe? Is this just like she's thinking about plants and stuff and she's distracted, or something else?
I think you'd have to roll for that.
Permission to roll.
Go for it.
Make
Make a sense motive check.
Okie doke. Time to vibe check.
it's not the normal like distracted by work. There is something weighing on her mind.
Okay. Well, Shay at first was her usual just fucking sarcastic, like she like, yeah, thanks for saying bye. She kind of just like clocks the vibe. She kind of puts her drink down, says, and looks out, and it's like, it's raining right now because of the ambiance.
Yes, it's raining. It has begun to rain.
Okay. Well. Shit. Gotta find it again. 1 second. And she's going to gesture with like a thumb pointed outside. Zola, you want? I can walk you home if you're worried about, little shits bothering you.
There's just kind of a blink of like processing, and then you see just a tiny kind of smile on her face, and she shakes her head and kind of like lifts the walking stick that you know is not just a walking stick. I'm not concerned about rascals. They are more annoying than dangerous. But thank you for the offer.
She shrugs. No worries. How bad of a storm is it?
Well, it did just start to thunder, so it will be getting worse shortly. Right now, it's walkable, but you will be soaked. You may be bone soaked if you wait much longer.
And it's closer to get to Sola's than it is to get back to the blacksmith.
Mm-hmm. I'll go ahead and move you guys over to Amanko's on the map here.
Kokoro's huge.
Yeah, Kokoro's gigantic. Let's just shrink that ego slightly.
You can't shrink my ego.
He's Mark is smart.
Container.
Mesme.
He's Mark. Back to the wards there. All right.
He's Mark like turning the corner to his house as the like bottom drops out.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
He's got a trench coat.
Yeah, he's got a trench coat. It fits his aesthetic to be slightly damp from rain.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody looking at Ismark going home in the rain is like, this man belongs here.
Oh man, he's so noir.
And Sola lives right there too.
Yeah, Sola doesn't live very far from here at all.
And if she really, really wants to, she's friends with the brothel owner, so she can just cut through the brothel. She doesn't have to go around the block.
That is also very true.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Shay's got a cabin outside of town. She could go there.
Yeah, she's got a cabin outside of town, or she could crash with Das and Mez, or she could stay here. As well.
Yes, with the kaijitsus.
It's literally an inn.
It is. I know.
Or she can't. I imagine Shay has been invited to stay at Sola's once or twice. The issue is Sola's entire building smells like plants.
That is a thing. That's very overwhelming. Well, depending on the type of plants she has.
Just plug your nose with 2 pieces of charcoal. There you go.
2 pieces of charcoal.
Up
That's
the
just
nose.
like a permanent item in her fucking inventory now.
She's
Charcoal.
snoring up a storm if she does.
Yeah.
Sola's
Okay.
not gonna get any sleep. So what'll it be, boss? You're watching Sola depart.
Mm-hmm.
You see the dialogue menu come up.
Well, Shay is going to knock on the bar right
Mhm.
next to Mesmine. Just quick to get her attention.
She was explaining to Amiko and Kokoro exactly how her gun worked, and like even pulled it out and is just like going over the bits and details of it, like kind of nerding out a bit.
Kokoro is... She's nodding and encouraging you, but if you like look at her eyes, there's like the blank, I don't understand a word she's saying.
Smile and
Amiko
nod,
does-
smile and nod. She'll stop eventually.
Amiko does seem to understand more and is paying attention. However, as you're demonstrating the gun, she keeps pointing the barrel down. Like whenever you get too animated, she just like quietly tilts the barrel back down.
Mez, because I'm assuming she's many drinks in at this point.
Yes.
So yeah, Mez doesn't take note of that particular thing.
If she invented this, firearm safety has not been invented yet.
Amiko just looks at it and is like, I'm pretty sure the little explodey bit came out of this end. I don't want it at my face.
I heard that
Yeah.
thing made a goblin explode. I don't want it. I don't want to look down the barrel.
Amiko's been traveling long enough, and also has been to Minkai, where they have fireworks that are similar to this. She understands explodey end, face down, all times.
But yeah, Vez turns her head, like pausing halfway through her words, like,
And she's going to point upwards. Like, rain's coming down. We should probably head out. Sola's got a good idea. She points towards Sola, who I assume has continued her retreat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If she is not being stopped, she is continuing to leave.
Mm-hmm. You know,
Take a few
Shay did
steps
her
further.
duty. Yeah, Shay did her duty as a friend. Like, hey, do you want me to walk you home? No? Okay. You know, what you're doing is smart. We should do that.
no, I'll be fine. Just hanging out with Kokoro and Amiko here.
Yeah. Want another drink, Mez?
Yeah, do I?
Here you go.
Her word, I'm not doing it well, but her words are definitely slurred.
Oh, don't worry, we can
100%.
tell.
100%.
It's good. It's good. I have a question for you. Does Mez ever fucking drink?
Yes.
Okay, like how, like, is this normal? Like, how often does she drink and how much? Like,
She doesn't drink often, but
Mhm.
when she does, she drinks a lot.
on a scale of 1 to plastered, 10, where is she?
So if plastered is 10, she's like a 12.
What?
Or that's how she ends the night, at least.
Yeah.
Okay, what about right now?
Right now, she's probably like a 7 or an 8. She's in the rambling stage. The
Mhm.
like one or the the phase of when you start talking about something and then you start jumping topics and not really fully finishing your train of thought, or hyper fixating super hard and then jumping topics. So like when Shay pointed up, Mez like full on tilted her head up, like yeah, like full on, like what are you pointing at?
Oh my god.
I like to imagine Kokoro for no other reason that it's fun. Like she's playing the part of like an actual like hostess sitting next to her, and then she's drinking. Kokoro's just smiling, pouring more alcohol for her.
I mean, the drinks are free.
Yeah.
Oh my god. For
She is,
tonight.
she is giving Amiko much needed information.
Like, somewhere out there, Farah's, like, tail is twitching at the thought of all this, I imagine.
Huh?
Well, cause Wisteria, when she drinks a bunch at the bar.
Oh.
Free drinks?
Multi-campaign drink.
No.
Not her bar, not her problem.
But Amiko, being somebody who has run a bar for quite some time, and quite ruddy herself by this point, her cheeks are very, very red, does spot Mesmine kind of starting to sway, and she looks over to Shay, kind of locks eyes with her, goes, I do think you guys should maybe start heading home, though. Unless you want to stay here for the night.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Amiko blinks.
Don't want to cap that with a no offense, Chief. No, you got. Wait, never mind. You got 8. You got 8 charisma. I know that feel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you expecting from a charisma Shay address?
Why don't we just stay here and keep the party going?
Because if you stay here, I'm gonna have to cut you off, Mez.
But I haven't even had that many. I feel
You
completely
have.
fine.
To the side where there's just like a mountain of like upside down shot glasses that Kokoro is stacking up every time you finish one.
Amiko also pretends to start counting them, and then she turns to you, Bez, and she goes, "You see that? Every one of those is one more flagon Doss is gonna take his sweet time fixing unless I make sure that you get back home safe."
But they taste so good.
Can I interest you in this rice sake?
Coco, no, she's good. She's good.
She reaches.
Mez, as you reach for the sake, Amiko actually intercepts it and shots it herself and puts it back down.
It's funny. I think Shay just is going to do the same thing, but Ameko got there first.
Aww. So I imagine she reached out to get it. Like she's sitting on a bar stool, I'm assuming, and it sways a bit
Aw.
when it gets out of her reach.
Yeah, I think that's enough for you.
Are you gonna need help getting her home, Shay?
Looks at Mez. She's still upright.
Yeah, she's still upright.
She's still
leaning-
upright.
She's leaning on her gun though.
Explodey side down.
Explodey side up.
You
Oh,
see,
no.
How about we hold on to this until tomorrow?
Mez gets very defensive and like will full on hug her gun. No.
Okay, give me the round thingies that go in it.
You don't know how to use them.
I don't know how to use them, that's why I should hold on to them.
No.
Come on, give me the round things.
No.
Mez, give me your balls.
okay. How about you point it downwards, we get you home.
She seems very like, but this is fun.
And
Wait. So. Fuck, I lost the accent. I lost it a while ago. Oh well.
Keep going. Just keep going. You got this.
So, like, what time is it right now, actually?
Oh, DM, what time is it?
It's got to be like 11 o'clock. It is dark out. And Mez, as a blacksmith, you have very early hours.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's kind of what's like the light.
Hmm.
Like she looks out the window. It's like, wait, when did it get so dark? Where's the sun?
Does she say that?
She mutters it. Yeah.
Snort.
Where'd the sun go?
Miz, it's almost midnight.
Well, maybe it is about time I get back. You know, because curfew totally wasn't like 2 hours ago.
No. Wasn't. No way.
Nope. Not at all.
She'll
Leaning
just
on
stand up.
gun again.
Mm.
This is one of a kind piece of machinery. Oh,
It's a cane. It's a pointer.
she learned this from watching Solo. Amiko will get you a plate as well, with instructions to offer it to Das as a peace offering. She gets you a separate box full of some meat for party.
Ah, yes.
Meat chunks.
Hell yeah.
With that, everyone is on their merry way to sleep. So where's everybody sleeping tonight? Looks like Sola's back at her place. Ismark's back at his place. Kokoro and Amiko are staying at the Rusty Dragon. Where are Mez is at the blacksmith. Where is Shay sleeping?
Ah, I'm gonna flip a coin. She dropped Mez off, gave the food to Das, gave the whole song and dance of like, yeah, Ostraka time. You know, here's food, here's Barney food. Give pets to Barney, of course, the best boy. And then she promptly peaced out, went to her cabin, because she's had enough people for a while.
Okay.
So I do want to ask if Ismark can make a slight detour on his way home.
All right. What are you doing, boss?
So it is late and he has the cover of night. The cliff is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Is the side here higher and overlooking the graveyard, or is the graveyard on top of the hill?
You're talking about this graveyard here, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The graveyard overlooks the hill. So this area is higher than this area.
How much higher?
You
Like
would
s-
have to. It's high enough that like it overlooks the houses.
Okay. So, you know, Sandpoint's a small town. Ismark's got time. I want him to run up and around, and can he like squeak by in this little area to like get a peek at the graveyard?
You can. However, sir, it is dark and rainy. And you have a family.
Yeah, I know, but
You can't just disappear for no reason. You have a family.
he's not gonna disappear. He's got an insatiable need to detect.
Oh my god, is he ranting to Ginny after Cece's put to bed? The
Is he
hell?
trying to detect at a graveyard in the rain?
In the middle of
Well-
the goddamn night, he's like,
The aesthetics or something there. I can feel it in my bones.
Look. This was the church that like had the thing under it,
yes,
the big thing, and then the hole that led up and into the graveyard.
yes, that's correct.
He's gotta go back to check if there's something in the, like, maybe if it's dark, that's when the villains come out, you see? You gotta go see if the villains are out there fucking around in the graveyard at night.
You do realize
Alright.
if he just like takes this detour and Jenny decides that she is fucking done with his ass, none of us are gonna be able to help him.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be fine.
All right.
Sir.
So, let's see. All right, Ismark, make me, as you're scooching here, in the fucking dark.
Why do you
It
say
is-
it like that?
It's pitch black out. You've got moonlight to go by, but it's not terribly much moon. This isn't a full moon. And even if it were, with the storm, the clouds are not doing you any favors here. It is quiet and still, except for the rain in the town of Sandpoint, and although you can make your way over easily, with only the din of the bars starting to close down for a companion, there is an eerie feeling to it. So, Ismark, roll me a perception check, and then roll me an acrobatics check.
Okay. So you said what in acrobatics?
Perception.
Perception?
Mhm.
Okay.
I will also accept profession detective.
Is my profession detective? They're about the same, but I'll go with perception since I clicked that one already. So perception for a total of 20. And do I have inspiration? No, that's fine. I don't need to throw an inspiration on that. 20's high enough. But I'm gonna throw the acrobatics out there. This is gonna be slightly lower. I will throw an inspiration on that. Throw a d6 on there. Yeah, you know what? 15's great. That's plenty. Yeah.
Not as low as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I was
honestly, that's
expecting so much lower.
not bad.
Yeah.
Can you roll me a reflex save, Ismark?
Mm.
Okay.
Oh,
So, as you are making your way over to the church and swoosing on by in this tiny little crevice, you're able to see well enough and take your time with each step, making sure, putting your foot down lightly before committing to actually putting your weight down. You've done a lot of soft pawing about. It's something that you're a bit familiar with, even if the circumstances are a little unusual. That you're able to make your way all right. However, you do start to slip when the ground gets more uneven thanks to the graveyard, and for a second there, you have to windmill your arms in order to keep from falling, but as you windmill your arms, you almost spill all the food. But you manage to keep hold of it.
just windmilling like, oh, and then the food is like tilting open. He's like, oh, it stabilizes.
You've managed to make it to the graveyard, and now Sandpoint is a fairly new town. It's only about 100 years old, less than that, really. There's only been about one generation here, so you would expect that there weren't too many gravestones, but long before this was Sandpoint, this was a common trading post and settling point for very many Varisian travelers. And before it was that, of course, it was a stopping point for travelers of all stripes. There's a lot of history in the earth here at Sandpoint, and a lot of that is evidenced in the graves that you see here. Some of them so worn away that you can't read anything at all, but others so new that you remember having spoken with their bearers within the past year. Alone in the graveyard with the rain hitting the stone, there's a strange stillness here, and a cold sensation that prickles at the back of your neck. You're taking a look at, I'm guessing, where you would reverse engineer the pit to have been, right?
Yeah, exactly. He wants to see the top side of where that pit would pop out at.
So, by pacing around in the dark here, getting accustomed to it, thinking, drawing the figure out a little bit on the top of the takeout container as you're going, you can put two and two together. The tunnel emerges right about here, on one of the outskirts. And the grave that it's nearest is one of those that's so old and worn down that you can't really make anything out right now, except that there's water streaming down it and rivulets and rivers. In fact, the rain is kind of what makes it easier to see, as you can start to spot the sunken dirt that they used to fill it.
So from that hole, looking out to where... So if someone were to scramble out of that hole and pop up from it,
Mm-hmm.
is there anything directly in front of where that hole lets out, like, that would be a point of interest, like a mausoleum, or like a gate to an exit, or...
There's no gate here that you can see. Roll me another perception check, though.
Yeah. I will throw one inspiration on that, if you don't mind. Almost to 20.
All right, almost 20. Well, Ismark, there's a couple things that you notice about this grave. It's overlooking the bridge pretty much exactly, as you can see here. Now, the bridge is usually manned. There's usually a couple guards, you know, the fellas that are there, who would be trying to keep a lookout for this area here. However, during the hubbub and the rush of the goblin attack, it's entirely possible that that bridge would have been abandoned. And from this point, it would be very easy to see when it was. And while you can't exactly see any gates or anything like that, you do notice at the edge of the cliff that some of the earth looks like it's been shifted recently. And you see, as the water is pouring down into it, almost like a spout, where pitons and rope would have gone.
Okay. Okay. So Ismark's putting a little bit together. Someone could have waited for the bridge to clear and clambered up this way and gotten into the church by digging, possibly even.
Well, from examining the cave, you can tell it took them a good while to dig this.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't something that was done overnight.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. So this was something that was done over a long amount of time, but they could execute quickly with a little bit of coordination around the celebration event.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
By your estimation, a pit the size of the one that you're looking at would have taken months, if not like a year, to do in a clandestine fashion. It's probably aided by the fact that this grave is so old that nobody really seems to go over there.
Okay. Then, with that last little, like, lingering look at the cliffus and towards the bridge, Ismark will like take a few steps backwards and then turn on his heel and start to head back towards home, in earnest this time.
All right. Don't think you're out of the woods yet. Make me another acrobatics check.
I want to be out of the woods. Let me out.
You're the
who
one
has
that
to be here.
chose to do this.
Let me out. I'm gonna inspire this because I'm running low, but I'm about to rest. Thank God for that.
You hope you're about to rest, sir.
Yeah, you
I'm
hope.
about to rest. It's gonna be fine. I'm about to rest.
So, thankfully, you have done this once before, and you're able to go down the hill without totally beefing it and getting meat and onigiri all over the place, which would have been quite the scandal. I'm very sad that you've deprived me of this opportunity.
Definitely
He's
gonna
my-
rest when fucking Ginny suplexes you for being home so late.
Yeah, so Ismark, when you get home, Ginny is awake waiting for you. And she is not happy that you have been out for so long.
Turns on a lamp.
It's two scenes are happening here in parallel because Ginny's doing that and Doss is doing that. And in the darkness, their silhouettes are very similar.
Oh no. I thought. Wait, I didn't agree to this. This is the Ismark show here. Like, come on.
Well, I was going to bring this up and then Joe cut in.
The scene shifts to Ismark and then does the whole wander around investigation thing, and then as he gets home and puts his hand on the doorknob, it cuts to an A-frame, and then you see in the mirrored part of the A-frame, you see fucking Mez getting home to the thing, and then below the A-frame you see both silhouettes mirroring each other again.
I can't find the gif of Mrs. Incredible turning on the lamp.
It's very that. You know what? Why don't... Okay, Shay, you're the one who's speaking for Mez here, right? You're her designated driver?
Her designated walker, yeah.
Yeah, so you make me a diplomacy check, and Ismark, you make me a diplomacy check.
You chose the two people who dumped charisma.
That's fine, because I'm going to roll real good.
That's fine. Because I'm going to roll real bad. Oh, okay. Not as bad as I thought.
You did roll
Wait.
better.
Dude, I don't even know if it's worth throwing a boost on top of this. You know what? He's just gonna eat it. He's just gonna biff it.
Fuck, man.
So, Ismark, Ginny loves you dearly. However, raising a child is a difficult prospect, especially a rambunctious child who has just seen something very exciting and been on stage for the first time. And although she's, pretty tired and everything, it does mean that, Ginny has to give Cece her entire attention. So many other things that she wanted to do today, and don't you understand how hard it is to get things done sometimes? I mean, she's got to mop the floor, she's got to make sure that Cece's breakfast is done. Usually you make sure that Cece's breakfast is done, but now she's got to do it. And she didn't get her workout in that day. I mean, not really. The performance workout doesn't count. Things continue in this fashion for quite some time.
Oof.
However, she is somewhat placated by the food.
Thank God. Thank God for the +2 boost from food.
So, Shadress, you're assisted in this by the fact that neither you nor Doss like talking to people. In fact, you would both rather be doing damn near anything else than having this discussion.
It's half nonverbal.
That's exactly it. It's half nonverbal. He's just sitting there, waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And as the two of you come in, Mez kind of shambling all over the place.
Just give me 1 second. I have my own Angie spouse to deal with. Give me a second.
Uh-oh.
Oh no! The match cuts are too strong!
I brought food.
That's really what Ismark was leaning on this whole time. He's just like, I got food, and then wifey comes over and looks at it, and it's just like, you're lucky there's a lot of food in here.
This is
Super
my
lucky.
caloric. This is my caloric intake for one day, Ismark.
I was thinking of a worse way that diplomacy check could have gone, because I was like explaining to Ismark like, hey, raising a kid is a lot of work, and this kid just had a hugely impactful and overstimulating day, and there was a lot of energy, and I didn't get to have any me time, and blah blah, and like going on and on and on. And then Ismark's like, hey, isn't this what you always wanted? Like a way to absolutely tank any goodwill.
That is death. That would have been instant death. You would have had to roll a new character, my dude.
Yeah, you avoided that. You didn't roll a 1.
That would have been a fun call from Ginny the next day of like, hey, Sola, I need your help in burying a body. You can put that in a garden, right?
Sola, do you know any resurrection spells yet? No? Okay, well, I was kind of banking on that.
Oops.
I may have disciplined Ismark a little too hard.
Alright, I'm back. Sorry, Mr. Amy is very angry.
Oh.
Not
Aw.
angry at you, correct?
Angry at the situation. He wants me to go to the store with him because someone did not go shopping today like I asked him to.
So he's angry at the situation he put himself into.
Yes. And also that I'm going into work tomorrow. And also that there's a storm. Sorry, I am back.
You get to keep going?
Yeah, there's not actually a problem.
Oh, okay.
Everything is perfectly fine.
Alright.
That's why I said angry.
You know what? That's
Yeah,
fair.
if there was a problem, we would have gotten like Amy, like, "Hey, I gotta go," and then
Yeah,
immediately
exactly.
peace out.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
fair.
hmm The more I bitch about things, the less serious it is.
Mhm.
Alright, so... What's up?
So you get back. You're helping Mesmine in, and as Mesmine kind of shambles in, Das just locks eyes with you.
She
And-
just presents Mesmine, like, 2 hands, like... Ta-da!
Long cat style.
More like, a mini, like, jazz hand that's kind of sarcastic.
This has happened at least 2 other times where she's been this drunk.
Barney gets up from Das's foot, his foot side, and paws on over, kind of nuzzles against Mez, as Das continues to just look straight at Shaydrez, and he tilts his head and raises a brow.
Shaydrez shrugs and holds up the bag of food.
Das pinches his nose, takes a deep breath, lets it out, shrugs, and taps the counter.
Shaydrez, small smile, a little bit smirky as she passes and gives Barney a pat, pat, pat as she plops the food on the counter. Not like drops, but just like places it.
Love you.
Bye, Mr. Amy.
He's leaving. Sorry.
During
Any
this-
comments from Mez?
During this interaction, Mez wasn't really paying much attention. He saw Barney, and Barney was like rubbing Esther. She got on her knees and is like full on hugging Barney around the neck and nuzzling him. It was like so soft. It's been so long. He's such a good boy, and it's feeding him.
Aww.
Aw. Right.
Das nods quietly to Shaydras,
Mhm.
stands, and then walks over to where Mez is and kneels down next to her to also feed Barney.
Ah.
Hey, boss. I brought food.
Barney?
I feel like the Hey Boss brought food was like, Hey Boss presents food. I brought food, finger guns.
Yeah. It's Barney's food that she's got because Shay has Daws's food.
Das just nods the nod of a tired father. Sure did. You remember what time we're starting tomorrow?
that sad laugh is the response.
Run, Shay, run.
Yeah.
Now it's time Shay's Irish exit.
She wouldn't Irish exit. She just there's a snort at the sad laugh. As she gives a nod. And I assume Mez is distracted by Barney.
Well,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Shay is going to walk up next to Mez and just kind of snap her fingers. Like, make a little noise to get her attention.
jumps a little, but turns.
Not like right next to her ear, but just like...
Yeah, no, but still, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
soft.
Mm-hmm. And then snap, snap. Get her attention. It's like... Alright. Night.
Are you sure you don't want to, like, stay here? It's, like, there's a lot of rain and, you know.
Jay looks out the window. Very convenient thunder, huh? Looks back and she shrugs and she's like, yeah, had worse. It'll be fine.
If you're sure.
Yeah, I've had enough of people.
Right.
She like gestures towards outside the window as she says people, gesturing towards the town.
She kind of nods, like, yeah, right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Uh,
Bye.
Get home safe.
Das bids you farewell.
Get a little peace sign over her shoulder as she walks out the door.
All right.
Deuces.
Deuces.
So, can everybody except Shaydras roll me a will save?
No.
Uh-huh.
Will there be repercussions?
Will.
Haha. I'm gonna use 2 inspiration to add a d6 onto that one. I'm running low on inspiration. Yeah, 13.
Okay. That's just enough. Everybody has regular sleepy deepy times. However, Shaydras, you're not out of the woods yet because you're going into them. But also, because as you're approaching your cabin, firstly, tell us a bit about your cabin.
Okay, hold on. You said everyone passes. Shay didn't roll. Sorry, just for the notes.
Yes, of course.
Shay's cabin it's not fancy, but it's not like a shack, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a proper, like, it's enough for maybe 2 3 people, if they're very familiar with each other, to comfortably like chill and live in. Imagine you got like a 1 bedroom, living area, a kitchen area, and it's kind of in this little makeshift clearing, and it's pretty much like mostly hidden because there's a lot of trees around it, and well, not trees, but like bushes and foliage around it. Coincidentally, all of the like bushes around it are like plants that do not have strong smells. Like there aren't any like especially like fragrant filled flowers, or there are no stinky plants in sight.
I imagine Sola took all those off her hands.
Yep, if there were, she relocated them. They were donated to Sola. And it's very like quiet and it's very cozy. And it is her escape from civilization.
So, Shay, as you are coming home to your escape from civilization, you open the familiar door, you step across the threshold, and the feeling of home settles over you like a blanket. You've burned many fires here. They've kept you warm for many a night, and you may well do that tonight. The rain does make things a little bit chillier. You can hear the gentle pitter-patter of the rain against the roof. And everything just looks so soft after such an exhausting day as this. You walk to your bed, and on your bed, you see an envelope.
Who the fuck?
Appropriate reaction.
Who the fuck was in her cabin? First of all, she's going to check the fucking cabin. She doesn't touch the letter yet. She's like, someone put this here. Where the fuck are they?
Yeah, go ahead. Make me a fucking perception check.
25.
Why the fuck are you this way?
She's a ranger!
So, it doesn't look like anybody forced their way into the cabin. You can't see any signs of forced entry, nor anything really amiss. The lock hasn't been forced. There's nothing wrong with the windows. You don't see any stress marks anywhere that would give that away. There also isn't very much of a strong scent here, but there is a faint one, and there's a faint smell of rot. The only other thing that you do notice that is amiss is some of your... I imagine there's some books here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of those have been rifled through.
Mm.
But it seems for all the world as if maybe you were here earlier. There's not that much disturbance at all.
Suspicious. What books were rifled? Like, was there like any... Just all of the books were just like moved around, opened up, closed? Like that?
It more looks like, you know how when you have a bookcase, some of them tend to be... They rest against each other for so long that there's, like, divots in there. And you can sort of tell when something's been moved because the books don't settle against each other the same way. It's more like that. Like somebody was leaning over, maybe with a finger on the spine of the book, tilting it out a little bit.
Okay.
You do find, though, there's a book of children's stories, and that one is open on the desk.
Suspicious. Just going to look at it. Is this like a book that she owns, or?
Yeah, it's a book that you owned. It's an old book from your youth.
Okay, what story is it opened on?
It is opened on a story about a lost princess from the Lenorm kingdoms, whose father was actually part dragon. It's all about her reclaiming her birthright.
Okay.
It's a story you liked as a child.
She's going to put the book back and turn to that fucking envelope. Fuck is this?
You open the envelope, and within the envelope is a letter. It's very short. It reads as follows. I have pasted it for you.
I see.
Read it out loud, bitch.
Hold on.
Or don't keep the secrets. Let them fester.
Read it out loud so there's no silence as you read.
Okay. First of all, does she recognize the handwriting or no?
Go ahead and roll me another perception check. It looks like handwriting you've seen before, but the way that it's being written in this very formalized, blocky hand, it's more that you see certain swoops here and there that remind you of, but it's not quite enough to put together what it reminds you of. But in the same way that, like, a child pretending to write as a parent still looks like a child, even though the handwriting here is masked, it's still familiar. You just can't put your finger on how.
Okay, now I need to actually read it because I was distracted by Z. Okay. It's a very short letter. And it's that smell. Shaydrez is not happy. In fact, some would say she is very upset. She's going to tuck the letter, fucking toss it on her fucking desk, and let me.
Doesn't you know this is the Shaydress can't be happy game?
Apparently, she cannot be happy.
It's not allowed.
Yeah, not allowed. No. How bad is the storm?
Jesus Christ, it's pretty bad. He's Mark Shaydress going out in the middle of the storm.
That's why I'm asking. How bad is it?
It's pretty bad, but like
Okay.
it's coming down pretty hard at this point.
Okay. Well, you know what? She's had a day. She's had a long day. So, fuck this. She's going to bed. Throw the letter on the desk. Put her fucking book away. Fuck this shit.
Right. You have as good a night as you can have in the circumstances, and you don't need to make. You just need to make sadness saves.
You fail.
Sadness. No.
What?
Anger.
It is a bright, fresh morning in Sandpoint, and the air is still thick with the feeling of rain. It's very humid out, and as the morning starts to progress and the town starts to wake, there's the wet sounds of people just trying to muck out their cabins or get their wagons out of wherever they've ended up covered in mud. There's a lot of, shouting and hollering about this or that or the other thing. But for the most part, it's already starting to seem like what happened with the goblins was just a bad dream. People here seem to be very quick to return to their normal lives, at least for now. We will turn our attention to our intrepid shopkeeper. Sola, what are you doing this morning?
Have the vines grown back at all?
The vines have not grown back.
Okay. Because that's concern number one, fucking health hazard. Let me roll this. That's not helpful. Let me roll again. That's more helpful. She has a cat that she needs to go see.
Ah, yes, she does have a cat she needs to go see. You know where to find this cat. Because its owner tends to hang out in the upper area of town over here. If I'm not mistaken, it's this house, but I'll double check for you now. While I'm doing that, can you roll me a perception check?
I gotta fuck with some audio for a second.
Yeah, sure.
Too loud?
I can deal with it. I can do it myself.
Gotcha.
Okay. Perception, you said?
Yes.
Perception. There we go.
Okay. 24. Okay, I was actually incorrect. It's this house here. Right, 24. So with a 24, you notice that as you're getting ready to leave, under your welcome mat, there's an envelope.
Oh my fucking god. Okay. How wet and nasty in the dregs is this fucking note at this point?
It's pretty smudged, but it's still legible. However, the paper is very cheap. So, your hopes of it lasting very much longer on this earthly plane are not high.
She looks at it and just kind of clicks her tongue and just kind of looks at Holly and John and shakes her head. Some people
As you
truly
shake
don't
your
seem
head-
to know what sorry.
No, go on.
Some people don't seem to understand that you do not threaten a Sansarin. Particularly not in such a rushed fashion.
As you say this, John floats over and settles on your shoulder to read the note. And then he pauses for a second. Oh, boss, why I oughta. Hey, wait, what's it say?
You can't fucking read.
It is a threat to avoid poking my nose in places that they don't want me to go. Unfortunately, for them, even if they manage to get me in this lifetime, I will be back.
John nods vigorously. And, it doesn't say nothing about beaks, right? I can poke my beak wherever I want.
In theory, yes. And I do think that the many in the town do not understand you and Ali very well.
What? They don't get me in halls? What's there to get about halls? She's great.
Unfortunately, Ali has not developed the ability to speak as of yet. I assume she
Holly-
is just a normal capybara.
Holly, who is munching on some still moist grass, looks up and makes a normal capybara sound.
We'll get this eventually.
Yeah.
Tucks away the letter.
You know what I think is funny, boss? Maybe I could give Holly talking classes, right? Because she can read and I can't. So you think maybe we can work something out there?
It is a possibility. What is between the two of you, though?
What do you say, Halls? He kind of takes off and he settles down, like, on top of Holly's head so that she can't look at him, even if she tries. But she does try. Takes another extremely placid bite of grass, swallows it, nods in a very languid, unbothered fashion.
Well, I hate to ruin your pleasant morning, Holly, but we must go see a certain cat about a certain dream that I've had.
Holly looks crestfallen at this. You can see her, happy munching face just start to sink, and she munches slower, and she looks down at the ground.
Oh, don't look so sad. Perhaps we shall find something interesting to read. With I am forgetting his name.
Quink. Rodert Quink.
Perhaps we shall find something interesting to read with Mr. Creek.
She pads her paws on the ground as if she's thinking it over, and then starts to move very, very slowly in the direction of Quink's house.
Just little nod, turn, lock up shop, follow along. Yep.
So, it's a long walk to Quink's place, but it's one that you know pretty well. And along the way, you do pass several folks that you know. You pass Brisha, who wishes you a happy morning and asks if you would like somebody to look after the shop for you while you're away.
She will take him up on that offer, at least have somebody that is passing by with some frequency. She needs to find a fucking apprentice. She's gonna be going on adventures.
Yeah, so he agrees to pass by a couple extra times himself, but also make sure that one of the younger folks will be around on call, keeping an eye on your shop for you to try and prevent any further nonsenses. You pass by the ward's house along the way as well. Now, the wards might be having a bit of a morning themselves. Because you see, Ismark, this morning you were awoken by Cece bounding onto your chest with an envelope.
What's going on? Hey, I don't have durable a form
Papa!
as your mom.
Pop, 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 pop,
Each
pop.
pop, it's like Ismark loses half an HP.
She's flurrying of blows here. Like this child is very excited. But Ismark, as she's kind of smacking her hands against you, one of those hands does have an envelope in it.
He's gonna use 2 arms in a maneuver here where he will grab, sweep one arm underneath both of her armpits and then like put her in a full Nelson, and then the other arm he will snatch the envelope right out of her fingers and be like, let me read this.
Didn't realize that having a child meant you had to also learn wrestling maneuvers.
You gotta get real good at wrestling. Alright, Ismark. This is what your envelope says.
Oh. And there's no symbol, there's no signature, it's just those words like smack in the middle of the page, I imagine.
Yeah, there's nothing else on it.
Ismark, without looking away from it, his eyes kind of like bulge for a moment, and then he immediately, like, from groggy I'm still waking up mode to fully cognizant now, and he just goes, hey Cece, where'd you get this letter?
Mama said it was in the mailbox for you.
Okay, great. She didn't tell you when she found it, did she?
Oh, but she said that I should call you a stupid dum-dum.
Did she really say that? He looks at Cece.
She said I could say
it. He narrows his eyes at Cece and he's like, are you messing with me? You better not be messing with me.
Are you gonna sense motive this 3-year-old?
Yes.
Always.
He's gonna bust out some of his detective ability to try and sense motive on his child. Did the wife actually let her say that?
Yes.
His parent sense is tingling. God!
Ginny did evidently give her permission to call you a stupid dum-dum.
Why would she give you permission to say that?
Cece just kind of giggles. Dum-dum!
Okay, well you tell her. He puts a hand on his face, and he just smiles and kind of silently laughs to himself for a second. He pats her on the head, and he will set the letter down next to him, scoop Cece up like she is like a barrel or a sack of flour, so he's got one arm under each side of her, and he will just set her on the bed and just roll her up in the blanket until she is trapped in a blanket burrito.
She is giggling. She giggles the whole while. But also as she is giggling, she just keeps going, dum-dum! Dum-dum!
You tell your mom that I love her very much, and then fart on her.
Her eyes get very wide at this.
Really?
Yeah, of course. And I love you too, but you're not allowed to fart on me.
But Mom? Okay. It's okay?
Oh, for sure.
She starts giggling again and trying to wriggle free of her burrito.
Ismark will let her struggle to wriggle free of the burrito, and he will take the letter and immediately start to get ready for the day. And he's trying to put together who could have written the letter, and like just mind racing. But man, is there anything I could roll for that would give him an idea of where he could search, or like places he might think to go? Because like Joe is drawing a blank. He's like, I can't just search everywhere, and he can't search. It's probably not church, right?
Probably knowledge local.
Knowledge local. I can throw a inspiration on this one for free. Where the fuck is, there it is. Woo!
All right.
Detective mode, engage.
So, Ismark, you know the postman? And if this was in your mailbox, you should definitely ask the postman about it. He's over at City Hall. Well, that's where they go to pick up the mail in between shifts and rounds. His name is Vladim.
Vladim.
Yep.
Okay.
Spelled thusly.
Vladim.
And you've worked with him enough, because a surprising amount of crime gets done through the mail, that you figure if you asked him about something like this, he'd be able to answer you. However, you do note that there's no name on the envelope.
Yeah. That's gonna be a stretch trying to figure this one out, but
There's just an I in the top left corner.
like an eye,
Letter.
like an eyeball, or the letter.
Letter I.
Ah. Okay. Ismark looks at it, checks the back of it. He's gonna really quickly just. I don't think this will go anywhere, but he's gonna hold it up to the light. Does he see anything if the light is to the back of it, like shining through it at all?
Maybe a will save.
Oh no.
Ismark, you hold this up to the light, and there's certainly a shape of some kind there. But as you're letting your eyes wander over it, they seem to double over in loops and turns and knots and tangles. And the more that you stare at it, the harder it is for you to look away. It's as if, with your detective's mind, there's always something to uncover. And this pattern is full of mysteries to you. After what feels to you to be a solid hour of looking at this thing, but is in fact only 10 seconds or so, you develop a splitting headache.
Oh, it's one hand over his face. And he looks at the letter and then closes his eyes immediately, and he'll, with his eyes closed, fold the letter up and stick it in a shirt pocket.
The letter submits to this.
Oh. Okay. Kind of like slaps his face a little bit with both hands. Kind of, okay, showtime. Time to do the piecing the puzzle together thing that you always do. And he's gonna run downstairs, say goodbye to wife, tell her that he's got some work to do right away.
You do happen to spot Sola as she's strolling down the street at around this time.
Looking distinctly not amused.
Kind of flexes his jaw a little bit. Starts to wonder if Sola could help him identify anything, but then notices, yeah, she's clearly in some sort of mood, and will quietly start walking after, and then just be like, no, okay, you know what? It's something, I think something's up, and he's gonna just hustle up and be like, Sola, hey, wait up.
Kind of get her walking for another couple of steps until John and Holly stop her, and she turns and looks, and I imagine there is just the slightest bit of like smokiness to her eyes for a second. She kind of blinks away and like watches Ismark. It's normal by the time he gets up to her.
Hey. He like rubs his forehead. Oh, I got a bad headache. I got a weird letter this morning. Are you busy? You doing something? You seem like you're kind of walking with a purpose.
Sure. You got a letter as well.
He blinks for a second, and he's got one hand like touching his brow, kind of rubbing. Just goes, "You got a letter too." And he'll pull out his letter, and he goes to hand it to you, and then kind of hesitates for a second. He's like, "Don't hold it up to the light," and I'll hand it to you.
And she kind of tilts her head. Confusion. We'll take it. What does it fucking say?
It says the only thing on it is in the top left corner it has the letter I, and then in the smack middle of the page it says I'm watching.
And her lips kind of thinned for a moment. And there's just this very curt nod. She'll pull out from under the wraps of her clothing the letter that she has and hand it over to Ismark. It says, "Do not poke your nose where it does not concern you. In the light of day, no shadows can find you, but we can."
Is it the same handwriting?
Different handwriting.
Different handwriting.
Although it is a little hard to tell given the state of Sola's. It's kind of starting to fall apart due to the rain, whereas yours is crisp and clean.
Huh. He looks at his paper and then looks at Sola's. And he's handling it very carefully because he doesn't want it to like fall to pieces any more than it already has, but he'll look at it, kind of move his jaw left and right, goes, okay. All right. There's something more going on here. Something more than this goblin attack. I can't prove it, but I feel like that's part of this whole thing. Whatever this is, and he gestures to the letters.
She is kind of staring at his paper, though more looking through it and past it than looking at it. I'm assuming there is no vibe of magic or any shit coming off of it, though, right?
You know what? That's a good question. Could you do you have detect magic up today?
Forgot to swap my spells around.
So you can have detect magic up today.
I do not actually have a detect magic spell. I don't think I realized that was a spell I could have.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no worries. I'm not sure if they have that in 5e, but that is a thing in
They do.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that then.
Read magic.
You know what? I will accept read magic. When you use read magic or using read magic for this, there is some magic about this. It's extremely old, though, and it would be hard to tie it into any particular school of magic, at least not the ones that you're familiar with.
She kind of tilts her head, and you see her thumb kind of rubbing the paper. There is traces of magic on this.
Idea what kind?
Not any that I've See, at least not in a very long time. And she kind of flips it over in her hand. And then very carefully folds it up and hands it back to Ismark. And kind of levels a very serious, very somber look at him. I believe that you are right that there is more going on. Not just because of what has happened. I believe it might be time that I tell you and a handful of the others in town why I am here.
What do you mean?
She just kind of shakes her head slightly. It's for my sanity. Can you wait for the answer to that until I grab a few other people?
He hesitates for a second. Nods. Yeah. Yeah, I can wait. Let's go get everyone.
And she nods. And she has the intention to go find Shay. However, probably fastest, easiest place to start to find Shay if she is in town is to find Mez.
Camera swings on over to Mesmane, who... Let's go ahead and roll me a fort save.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor Mez. Oh no.
Mez about to wake up with a fucking minus equal to the number of drinks she had.
You know, would this count as disease and poison?
No.
Fuck.
Nice try.
This will count as bad decisions.
That's a big box.
She's surprisingly okay.
Yo.
Youth.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, she is the youngest, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Mez, youth is a balm to you, the likes of which you are completely unaware of. Just the thought of doing something like this would make Sola's back hurt. But somehow, despite going to bed at damn near midnight and getting up at 4 in the goddamn morning to do physical labor, you're somehow okay. Now, Doss is fine. And Doss went to bed about the same time you do, but Doss is animated by something greater than humanity. Love of blacksmithing. Nothing is going to keep this man out of the forge.
She is his apprentice for a reason. Okay.
He does seem to respect the way that you've held up. And, you know, it's so far been a pretty normal day for you. You didn't wake up to any letters.
Cool.
But you do have, is it just Sola or Sola and...
Ismark would be with her.
Sola and Ismark do approach the shop, and you've been in the back helping Doss with something. And as the bell rings for a customer, you come out, and there's an envelope on the desk.
Oh fuck. Well, that's a bit odd.
Are Sola and Ismark walking through the door as she is discovering this envelope?
Yeah.
Yes.
She literally is picking up like, huh?
Oh, this is not good.
She's like lifting her goggles like off her eyes so she can look at it better.
Yours is also written on very crisp white paper. Would you like to see what's in it?
Not yet.
Yeah, just very crisp white paper.
Yeah, no,
There's no address on the outside whatsoever.
that can wait. We have customers.
What I said a second ago as Sola is literally what she says as she walks through the door and sees you with the envelope in your hand.
There's some sort of problem.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's some sort of problem. And he pulls out the letter from his pocket.
Just a pat in some hidden pocket in her outfit. I don't suppose that you have seen Shay this morning.
Nah, she left pretty late last night.
Why don't
Do
you
you happen to
open?
know?
Go ahead.
You happen to know where her cabin is?
Yeah, I haven't really been there in a while, but I could probably get us there. Hang on. She opens up the letter.
Read it out loud, bitch, because you're about to have to anyway.
I haven't even gotten anything.
That's a goddamn lie. I just sent it to you.
Okay, you literally just sent it.
By the time at which you started speaking, I had already sent it.
The time says 10:07. It is currently.
Shh! Read the
Oh
letter.
my god.
Oh my fucking! You're really
Iris!
just reflecting being in the same time zone now, aren't you?
Iris just is fucking fighting everybody today. Fucking shh! Read the letter. I didn't know that moving to Georgia was gonna make you throw hands with everybody, but goddamn.
It's the hate.
It's true. Georgia does that to people.
Oh, and she's from Georgia. That explains a lot. I'm sorry. I love Easy.
Man,
Did
I
you-
know
did these
I
white
run
people
on.
left when you
I
left town?
yes. I run on spite and rage. I know this about myself.
And caffeine.
And caffeine. 4 cups today. 4.
That's a good number. That's a fair number. Mine was 3.
I've had 2 matchas.
Iris, I know
Nice
you.
pails.
It's just freaking fine. Okay, you're not gonna read it.
It says. Well, no, she'll just put it on the desk for the others to read. But it says, I shall have need of that brand. Will you ready it for me?
Brand.
Oh shit.
Would Mez have told Sola where the brand came from?
I mean, I think if I remember correctly, we said that Mez would get some like medication and stuff from Sola
Mm-hmm.
for that.
That incident happened before Sola was in town, but Sola would
But,
have
yeah.
offered some
Yeah.
ointments and stuff to kind of soothe it and soften it and everything once she got
Yeah.
to town.
And you also mentioned that Sola did know what the brand on her like meant,
Yes.
right?
Yes, or had an inkling.
Yeah. So yeah,
Anyone wanna-
she would have talked about it like whatever Sola would be willing to kind of like give information about. She would have said, yeah, that I was asked to make this essentially.
Sola
But-
reads that and lets out just a very slow breath, and at like the confusion from Ismark, she just kind of like tries to catch his eye and will gesture towards her cheek where Mez would have the scar on her face.
Boss,
Das, the clanging of his hammer stops, even though you haven't called out too loudly. And you can see Das's great big head turn over toward you. And there's a tensing in his shoulders. You alright?
Mez looks very worried, and again, she's pale. So above the table here, Doss did finish that project, right?
Yes.
Did he ever do anything with it?
I imagine that Doss is a man who is proud of his work and would hate to destroy his work, but would never want to see it again. So I imagine it's buried somewhere in the fucking attic or some shit.
Okay. She Mez kind of looks to the other two. Is like, I'll be. I think. I think the boss should see this. And she will take the paper and kind of give it to him.
Wait, and Ismark's gonna reach out and grab for the paper or her wrist, whatever is easier to grab for.
Oof.
Don't touch her.
He's gonna unfold his paper, the envelope that he got. Does the handwriting look the same on this one, or at least similar?
The handwriting does look similar on yours, Ismark.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I just had to affirm something.
As you're starting your explanation, the great bull of Das Corvid emerges from the shop and slams both of his hands down on the table, bears down, stares right at you, Ismark. Is this your fault?
Hey, slow down. I don't think it's my fault. I think this is just something that, I mean, I'm involved with the guard here, so, I mean...
If you're involved with the guard, then how did this get into my shop?
I don't know. I don't know. I got one in the mail. I assume it's just a delivered letter.
He narrows his eyes at you. And he seems as if he's going to say more. But then he turns, shakes his head, walks over to Mez, and he kind of reaches out and doesn't quite embrace her, but opens his arms for one in case she needs one.
Oh.
She'll accept the hug.
Das will hug you tight, but not too long. It's only a couple seconds. He's not very good at hugging either. But he is very solid and very warm. And sometimes that can be reassuring. Once he's done, he holds you at arm's length and then drops his arms. Looks back over to the two people who have come into the shop and lowers his voice such that he's whispering to you, Mez. Whatever you want to do about this, I'm with you. You just say the word.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I was kind of wondering if you still, had it.
He flinches. I do. It's upstairs. I can get it, but if we lure this son of a bitch over here, maybe we can do something about him.
She nods. I mean, I can go get it if you can tell me where it is.
He shakes his head. I don't want you to have to touch that thing.
She like kind of gives a like, what's the grimace smile kind of thing, like, yeah, thanks, I appreciate it kind of thing,
pained grin.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'd rather not.
Das nods. Don't worry, I'll get it. And as he turns to leave, he whistles, and Barney comes over to you. And sensing that something is wrong, he gets up on his hind legs, where he's almost as tall as you are, and lays his head against your chest.
Oh.
All of the hugs and scratches and just like, it's okay, Barney. It's okay. He does feel very reassured, though.
Doss, I know that this is not a good thing, but if you don't mind, I think that we may need to take Mez with us for just a little bit.
If anything happens to her, we're gonna have problems.
You get Doss gets the full, like, bitch, auntie look.
Das is not well known in town for his temperament. He is as surly as Shadris. And that is why they understand one another.
We're just heading over to Shay's. Well, shouldn't be not much of a problem, right? Kind
Not
of
if I have
looking
anything to
between.
say about it. Well, not if we have anything to say about it.
Do you really think that I am going to let anything to happen to Mez? She is under my care. I see how much you like having any arthritis cream in the future.
He's still very upset. But you can see some of the tension let out, like a balloon just barely deflating, but still straining at the seams. Fine. But keep an eye on her.
Just
We will.
fucking Sola just like again shoots him just another like bitch really look, and then we'll look down at John on top of Holly's head with the silent signal of like, okay, if he's gonna be like keep an eye on her, John, you got a new ride for the foreseeable future.
John will flit on over toward Bez, and he kind of does a couple swoops in front of her, just to make sure that she sees him.
Mhm.
And then he will land on her shoulder.
Bez, I guess, soon to be animal tamer, pulls out some seeds.
Oh, she's got seeds? This is a pretty good gig, he says to himself.
Sola just lifts the arm that has like the extra fabric from the sari kind of like draped over it, and kind of this like shepherding motion, almost like she would put her like arm around Mez's shoulder, but doesn't unless like Mez seeks that contact, but still shepherding out of the shop before Das can fucking say anything else.
Mez is appreciative and will follow the shepherding. But as they're walking out, she'll be like, "You're not really gonna like not give him his arthritis cream, right?"
The only response that you get is just this very sharp like click of the tongue.
Ismark will throw one look towards him, and without any actual words, he will give him a very steely look. That to Ismark, he understands the concern, does not begrudge him that, and he is going to try to communicate that conceptually he understands, like, oh, this is the little girl that you watch out for. I understand what that's like. And he'll give him one firm incredibly archetypically masculine nod, and then walk out to join the other two.
To your surprise, Das does return that hypermasculine nod.
And yes, it worked. Holy shit.
Yeah, father to father figure.
You also didn't try to fucking say anything.
Yeah, that Ismark's not a good. He doesn't have a way with words, but you know what? He's like, hopefully this communicates that I kind of get where you're coming from. No need to worry.
Right. So, you can all head over to Shay's cabin relatively easily. But that does beg the question of what Shay's been doing and what Shay is doing when they find her.
I imagine that like there aren't many people who know where Shay's cabin is, because she always leaves from her cabin into town when she needs to talk to someone. She doesn't really bring people to her cabin. I would say if anyone does know, it's Mez and Das, and that's like it. Because why would anyone have the need to go to her place?
There's 2 solas now. I couldn't move the other one.
Oh,
Two
sorry.
solas. Double the sola.
My bad.
Sorry if I assumed, Amy. I just figured.
Oh no, you're right. You assumed correctly. Shaya's cabin is not the hangout spot.
Yeah.
But if you need to find her, that's where she usually is if she's not just gone, lost to the wilderness.
I imagine there are a few deliveries that were left at her place, like for repairs and shit while she's been out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Maybe Mez is like if she hasn't seen Shay in a month or two, check in to make sure she's alive. What has she been doing? What time is it by the time they all get there? She's not going into town.
Yeah,
She's at the cabin.
I'd imagine she's fucking not. It's, I would say by the time everybody gets sorted, it's about 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. Okay. Alright. Shay is investigating this fucking letter and the scent and is just trying to figure out where the fuck did they come from? Where did they go? Where the fuck is the Cotton Eye Joe? You know?
I'm glad you said that because I was thinking
I was
it.
also thinking it.
Yeah.
I was also thinking it.
That was the intention.
There is
Brain
one
cell
brain worm.
unification.
They lined up. So she's doing an investigate of her own. But she did study the scent on the letter. Was it a familiar scent at all, or?
Only a survival check.
Okie doke. Come on, Shay, you are built for this.
It's not as high as I was expecting from you.
Your DCs are getting pumped because you're usually rolling 20 plus.
Look, it's a +8. She's got like 1 rank in it.
Oh man. All right. So Shay, this is a familiar scent. It, much like the handwriting, there's something about it that feels like you should know what this is. But between the faint scent of the rot that kind of permeates into the paper and the smell of the rain and the forest that's kind of seeped into the cabin, it's a little hard to isolate exactly what is familiar about it. But it's definitely something you've been around before.
Okay.
It's a bit like when you have a sauce at a particular restaurant, and years later you taste something that's kind of like it. But it's also different, and you can't figure out what ingredients have changed.
Okay. So kinda recognize? Not exact. Has encountered it, has been around it before.
It has
before it
been
doesn't
a
open.
long time since you've been around it, though. Like more than a year.
Okay,
It's been a year.
more than a year. A long time ago. More than a year. Okay. I gotta fucking remember what the fuck is this character like.
Upset.
Like,
Upsetting. Yeah, she's very angry.
well, besides that, that's the easy part. She's very
mean-
angry.
Pissed
She
off
is-
bloodhound. That's the summation of the character.
Okay. Pissed off bloodhound. All right. Yeah, she's around the cabin. Probably not inside at this point. She's investigating the area, trying to like look for tracks. To see like, okay, where did they come from? Obviously they fucking got in here somehow. So she's outside in the equivalent of like just outside her backyard. Looking. I'm assuming there is nothing to find.
Rain has made it very difficult to
Mhm.
figure out exactly what are tracks and what are pits left by the soil shifting.
Mhm.
The animal prints are also very indistinct now, thanks to all of the mud. And of course, there was a lot of rain yesterday, so it's possible that the tracks were washed away as well.
Yeah. Can't hurt for trying. Imagine Shadra's is they go up to her front door and knock, and Shadra's is like behind them. Coming from like the trees across from her front door. She just finished her investigation.
You look appropriately disturbed this morning.
Sorry, needed a second. Can you repeat what you said?
You look appropriately disturbed this morning.
May? No! Slept like a baby. She says as she fucking like picks up like a brush on like the front porch and just like brushing the mud off of her boots.
Yeah, you didn't get a, weird spooky letter or something?
There is a falter in her brushing of the boot. But she continues brushing it as her eyes just slowly drift up to all of you. Why do you ask?
Because all
You
three
are-
of us got ours as well.
Yeah, Evemark nods to Sola and then pulls out the folded letter that he put in his shirt pocket. We all got one. Seems like we were all invited to a party and, well, figured you might be invited too.
She nods. What did your letter say? From the same person?
Shrugs. He'll, like, with one hand, he'll put pinch the letter between his thumb and forefinger and then, like, give it one good, like, whoosh, and then whip it so that it's open. And just hold it out to her.
And it's just this I'm watching you? Or something
Just
like that?
in the top left corner, there's the letter I,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the middle of it, it says I'm watching.
Ah,
That's it.
okay.
That's the whole letter.
Okay. She looks at it. And she kind of like squints.
Not the kind of letter that I want to get at my home.
And do
No.
be careful about that one. It has a trace of magic on it.
Ah, lovely.
She'll actually reach out to grab. Now that I think about it, reach out to grab for Mez to give her letter. Does that also have some magic shit on it?
And I have a question also for you, Kira. You said it reeks of ozone. Is
Yes.
that Mez can smell that? Or is that you preemptively telling us what Shay's
that
gonna
was
smell?
me preempting. That was me preempting.
Okay. Because I'm gonna say like Mez would be like, hey, this is your expertise here. Okay.
There's a smell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even
I had
I
to
can smell
note
that.
smells for some of them.
I am sorry. That's
no,
what I
it's
rolled.
But yes, Mez's letter smells faintly of ozone, and it doesn't detect as magic.
Oh. Finish checking it for magic and pass it along to
Yeah.
Shay.
Mez will hand it to Shay, kind of looking like one arm across her body, like to her other arm, kind of thing.
Mm.
Her hair kind of covering her face a bit more.
Ismark looks at Mez and he'll say, I think your letter and mine were written by the same guy. Same person, at least. Handwriting looks real similar.
All right, now Kira, those two, Ismark and Mesmine's letters, does the handwriting look similar to the one she got?
Well, your handwriting, the handwriting on your letter is fucked up, remember? But no, it doesn't look very similar.
Oh, right, it's like they're trying to mask their handwriting, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the same way that, if you've ever had to write something for a document and you get like really anxious about your handwriting and you kind of just sit there and really take the time to do all the strokes of each letter the way that the platonic ideal of each letter should be.
You try
I
your
don't know if
best
this
to
is a
emulate
normal
Times New Roman.
I don't know if this is a normal experience.
No, I understand. I got you.
Nope. That is something I know I have at least experienced as well.
Yeah.
So, that's the sort of handwriting that you see on yours, Shay.
Okay. All right. So, and she'll read, and she'll look at Sola, and grab a hand.
Sola just kind of tilts her head. We'll start to produce the letter. Mine got left in the rain, it seems. And the falling apart. Yeah, at this point should be dry and as stable as it's going to get.
Yeah, it's dried a little bit, but the paper is now that kind of like crinkly fragile state.
Okay. It just smells like wet paper, I assume.
Let me see if I noted what Sola's smells
Not
like.
in my notes.
No,
Not what you
no.
said to me.
No. Sola's is just kind of muck, scent-wise.
Okay. And that's just a threat, right? Against her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't suppose that you feel like sharing yours.
There is a slight twitch in both Shay's hand and her tail. She's realized, that's a different vibe. He's like, oh man. Fuck you, Kira.
Deep moral choices.
All three of us have put our cards on the table,
Yeah.
ma'am.
I know, no. I know. It's a matter of like, oh man, does Shay want to? She should. And she is going to kind of just like subconsciously like rest a hand on like her like pocket and kind of tap on it. He's like, is it really necessary?
I'm not gonna pull rank or something, yeah, but it would certainly help.
And it would be kind of nice to compare and know what we're up against.
Are you concerned about it?
Yeah. Concern. One word.
Solo
One
will
word for it.
very calmly lift her hand, doesn't do grabby hands, but just like that open palm in front of her of the like, okay, hand it over.
Shay pulls out the letter and she hesitates for a second. Kind of like, it's like there's an internal debate happening here. Before she just takes in a deep breath, lets it out, and just shoves it towards Sola before she changes her mind.
So
It's very, very.
expression and posture did not change the entire time until it was handed in her direction. She takes it, opens it up. What does it say?
Eastmark's gonna lean over to read it too.
So will Mez.
Oh my god. She wants to die. Can I just copy and paste in general, Kira?
I pasted it to everybody, but you could also do that for
Oh, you did?
posterity's sake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, never. If you already shared it, all good. Shay just looks increasingly like agitated. And she's like glaring off in the distance. Coincidentally, the same direction town is in.
And I don't suppose that you've had any other interactions with somebody that caused themselves this.
No. No one's ever introduced themselves as the thief. If that's what you're asking.
It's a hell of a different tone from the other letters here.
Yeah. A bit, just a little.
You need to mention the sense, ma'am. You need to mention the sense.
So different tone. So Shaya's sense of rot. What is Eastmark's? Is there a scent on Eastmark's?
Eastmark's
Didn't-
is also bright and clean. No smell.
No smell. Okay. Yeah, different town, different smell. Different handwriting.
Smell.
Yeah,
Like the
Oh.
smell of the letter?
right. Points to Sola's letter. Smells like rain, muck. Points to Eastmark's letter. Clean, no scent. Points to Mesmine's letter. Smells like. Is ozone a good description here?
Wouldn't that be like chemicals, essentially?
Yeah, like what?
Like acrid, chemically burny. Something
Okay.
in that neighborhood.
Okay. Because
Like
I'm just like, I
smell-
don't know if ozone is a thing.
Isn't that like basically hospital smell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Like
right.
disinfectant.
Yeah. That one smells like, one of the chemicals on something got spilled on it. And mine smells different.
What does yours smell like?
she kind of grabs, like, absentmindedly, her hand, like, catches, like, the tail end of her braid and kind of just, like, twirls it around her finger. Familiar? A bit? Smells... There's some rock to it. Can't put my finger on it. But I smelled it before.
Does
Don't
this
know
one
where.
have magic on it?
Right.
This one is completely mundane.
Go ahead, Iris. You're saying something.
Well, I don't know if I would have to roll for this or not. Because, wasn't rot the smell that Shay kept complaining about,
Mm-hmm.
like, long-ass time ago?
Yeah, that day.
It was indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Miz kind of looks at Shay, head tilting a bit, and a look of worry. It's like, well, when all this happened, you did kind of complain of smelling some really intense rot. And she kind of waved towards her face.
Yep.
And Sola nods very slowly. Just kind of folds up the letter very calmly and hands it back to Shay. Do you have some stumps or something that we can sit down on?
I've got a cabin with, table, chairs, a couch. Unless you want a stump. There's a
Yes,
bunch.
I assume that given your predilection involving people, that there's only 2 chairs.
She's got you there.
She's got a couch that she chills on. But I imagine, yeah, there is only like 2 chairs. But there is a lounge thing that she chills on. It's like better than inside, better than outside. She just like gestures towards, opens the door and just gestures inside. Everyone will fit somewhere.
Miz will take one of the chairs.
Ismark will stand, but when he walks in, as he walks by Shay, he does the one solemn nod, like, all right, it's a silent thank you. Thanks for inviting us in. And when he walks in, he just kind of he's a little on edge, and it's very visible. Not because he is in Shay Idris's home, but because of the letters and the way the day started. He's kind of been increasingly on edge as he's found more and more of these letters with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And when he walks in, his eyes just like dart up and around and over, and he just kind of scans the room and just gets a general assessment of like what it looks like, because just kind of head on a swivel.
As your
Yeah.
head is on that swivel, you do see Barney take the other's chair.
Barney came with?
Yeah, Barney came with, and he took the
Oh,
other
shit.
chair.
Barney jumps in the chair, and then Ismark kind of, and he'll take a few steps away and kind of just do that thing where you're leaning on one foot and lean on the other foot, kind of teeter.
Mm-hmm.
So, I suppose we'll take one end of the couch and kind of hold Holly a little closer, kind of shuffle Holly up against her legs.
Mm-hmm. Shay just disappeared into her room and comes out with like her desk chair that she's dragging. She just places.
There is
Sorry,
many things going on, yes. The goblins, the Istro, and the tombs. There is
Can't prove it. Sorry, go ahead.
There has been the issue surrounding Ginny's garden and the plants growing around my shop that do not belong and are not natural. And the return of, well, the things did this to you. And she gestures towards Mez.
And I can't prove it. But I don't know, something in the back of my head, some kind of hunch that tells me there's something that we're missing that's going to connect all these things together. I feel like they're all connected some way or another.
Sola nods.
Shea nods. And then she like tilts her head a little bit and like crosses like puts one knee over the other, puts elbow on the knee, hand, chin and palm. It's like probably did that. Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
She was gonna talk more about the letters.
Well, I was going to tangent off on some more lore droppage.
Okay. So, do you mind if I go first before we do it into lore?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Well, with your letters, what did they do to your room? What'd they do?
What did they do to
Did
my
they-
room?
Did they,
What do you mean, Shay?
Shay, that was in my mailbox.
That was on the
That-
front desk. For
Yeah.
me.
turn
Dolomat.
Sola? Oh, lovely, great. Okay, I found that one on my bed.
Hey, this is gonna be probably a dumb question. I gotta ask it. You got locks on your doors, right?
Yeah,
Oh boy.
already looked around. They weren't forced open. No windows broken. And they messed around with my books a little bit.
Mess around with your books? What, they rearrange them?
Yeah, sorta. Looks like they rifled through them. Left one of them out in the open.
What book?
It is a book of children's stories.
Yeah. I was trying to remember if you gave me a title or not.
I did not.
Okay, oh good. It's like, the kid's book.
Oh. Does this... I mean... Ismark's got a kid. Has he seen this book before?
So this would be the equivalent of one of those like standard collection books that you would see in pretty much like every library would have a copy of this. This is like one of those little books. You remember those?
The
The
what
what
books?
books?
The little golden books?
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like I do.
I think so.
Yeah. This is like one of those.
Would Sola have any interesting knowledge about the fucking story in it, though? Given Sola?
Yes. I'm considering here.
I mean, Shay can probably just go out and just like grab the book.
While you are considering that, Ismark has another throwaway question. He like looks at the book, turns it over in his hand, and he just goes, "I got another easy one for you. You don't happen to have any spare keys lying around that you maybe gave to someone in town that you feel safe giving it to? Maybe you gave a spare key to Mesmine?"
Shaydres pauses for a second. Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
Miss, how did you get to my cabin and back so fast?
Mm-hmm. She stops, and I guess like she was like with Ismark over his shoulder a little bit, just like flipping the page to the story, because it's a collection of stories, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah, she was like flipping the page of like, yeah, no, it's on this one, next page, this one, and as he says that, she kind of pauses for a second and thinks, and then she kind of freezes a little bit. It's like, she shrugs.
Is that a yes? Or is that an I don't know?
Mez, on her part, was putting her hands up in the sense of like, no, I would never, but then kind of froze. Shay, what about that friend of yours?
What friend of yours?
Or, I guess I should say
Nothing.
ex-friend.
Nope. Nothing. Mez.
Uh,
Do you
Well,
have some lover that you're
y'all
not
aren't-
telling me about?
y'all aren't friends anymore.
No. No.
So that person doesn't have a key to your front door?
I had a spare. She
Ismark nods.
might still have it. I don't know. Why would I know? She like shrugs. Fucking goes back to sit down in her chair.
I mean, even if it was her, you would have recognized her scent if she was here. So
The
it couldn't have
scent
been.
she said, yeah, the scent she said was familiar. But it wasn't that person's scent, right?
Kira, is it? Or can she not tell?
Roll me a straight wisdom check.
Oh boy. Search that memory bank. Come on.
You can't
Yeah.
tell.
Oh!
Oh no! Oh!
The one fucking time.
You do have a hero point, but you only get one of those per level.
Yeah, I'm not gonna use it now.
We're over halfway to leveling.
Well, yeah, but like that's big important.
And if you save up 2 of them, then that's a get out of death free card.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've got no idea. Between the faint smell of rot, between the smell of the muck from the rain, and how long it's been since you smelled that particular smell, and how much you do not want to remember that one,
Mm-hmm.
you just can't tell.
Yeah. Shay just like pauses and just like thinks. Her tail is flicking very, very like frequently as she's thinking. It's like, I don't know. Can't remember.
Ismark nods.
It's familiar. I know I smelled it over a year ago. At least. Don't remember her scent. I try to forget it.
Ismark, like very, very, like smoothly will take one hand in his coat pocket, one hand into his pant pocket, and withdraws a notepad and pen. And the gesture is mechanical, or not mechanical, is very muscle memory. Like he knows exactly what he's doing. He's like, okay, now I am in questions mode.
Mm. And
And
Shay is just
he's-
getting increasingly angry.
Ismark is staring at her like a hawk, and he's trying not to be like aggressive with his stare. He is just very, very focused.
Mm.
So, you haven't smelled this person in over a year. So you don't know. Understandable.
I don't know.
And you said they might have a key. Are they a forgetful person? Could they have lost it, maybe? Because if they lost it, that opens up a whole can of worms. But if they're pretty responsible and they didn't lose it,
I'm assuming this person is not the forgetful type.
No, she was always very precise.
Mm-hmm. She just snorts and just like, no, I don't think she'd lose it.
he nods once again. You can see, like, in time with the nod, he scribbles something down in his notepad and then doesn't break eye contact. And you and this person, you guys on good terms?
She stops. I imagine she was like, her foot was like tapping, like shaking her foot a little bit as it was like, she went from like knee over knee to like ankle on top of knee. And like that, the foot that was like on top of the other one was like shaking a bit, like tapping, as her tail was just like tapping against the fucking legs of her chair, and like her fingers were tapping as she has her arms crossed, and she kind of just all of a sudden just stops and locks eyes with Ismark, and she was kind of just like glaring over his like over in like a direction near him. She's like, now. Now.
Not on good terms with them, then. Pushes his jaw forward a little bit. If you'll pardon me for asking, I've been saying this person, she, a lot. What is their name, if I may?
See Shay. Her glare kind of hardens, and she kind of just like swallows. Grizz.
He nods once, and very, like the instant you say it, it's in his notebook.
It's Gris.
Gris. Are they in town?
Better not be.
He nods again. So they don't live around here then.
Jadris shrugs. I don't know.
Ismark, this whole time, aside from the movements of his hand and the nods to affirm that he's heard something or to affirm yes or no, he has been just stock still. He is trying to not flinch or make any drastic movements, like he is in the room with a tiger. And he is trying to interview a tiger.
And she has gone back to tail swaying, swishing, flicking the little piece of metal jewelry at the very end of her tail, clipping against the chair, making like little jingle sound every now and then as it knocks into the wood. Just constantly just like either shaking her leg or like tapping her fingers on her thigh, her arm. Very clearly all the body language of I am extremely pissed off right now.
And this Graves, she tiefling, Azamar, dragonborn, human.
Mez looks at Shay.
Shay looks at Mez.
Ismark's head, like the second your eyes leave Ismark, he immediately turns his head to see where you're looking and looks at Mez, and then looks back to you.
She... Tieflin.
Insight check.
Mez looks very disappointed.
I want to fucking insight check that.
That
was the
motive.
most. Yeah, sorry, sense motive. Forgetting my game systems. I'm looking like an amateur over here.
Do I have to roll deception?
Yes, you do.
Where is it?
Bluff.
Bluff.
I am throwing an inspiration on top of that. That's fine.
Oof.
Don't worry, dude. Yeah, so Shay just like Mez and Shay both instantly look at each other. There's a second of hesitation. Shay's a tieflin.
Ismark, for like the first time in like a 2 or 3 minute span of conversation, he blinks and see his eyes just dart a little bit left and right as he kind of scans your face, and he nods once. Are you sure?
No.
You actually see like a little bit of the demeanor of like all of this serious interview like kind of fall off for a second as he like blinks again and kind of what? But he doesn't say that. He's just like, you're not sure.
She shrugs and she had horns. Points to the top of her head. Called herself a tieflin.
You see like you hear a very sharp like as he clearly draws a line through one word that he'd wrote or more, and then you can see him like write on a different line. Looking over his shoulder, he just crossed out Grizz tiefling ? And then a line through it. He just says has horns in quotation marks. So
she just sorry, good.
No, you go ahead.
I didn't realize this was turning into interview Shay address. The most angriest witness.
Ismark like he was expecting the like, hey, you have any spare keys? Yeah, you're a reclusive person. I doubt you got any spare keys. Oh, you do. And then immediately all of his attention just fucking boom right on her.
Since when the fuck do you know someone? That's not Mez.
You not only know someone who has a spare key, you gave them a spare key, and they're not on good terms with you. This is ringing a lot of alarm bells for him right now.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, when I met her, she was a tiefling.
When you met her, she was a tiefling. So she changed. Something about her changed.
Yeah.
That made you think she's not a tiefling. And when did you meet her?
Sorry, repeat the second to last thing you said.
He said when you met her, she was a tiefling, and something
She
changed.
nods. She stops.
To make and something changed to make you think she wasn't a tiefling no more.
She was like nodding along, then she like pauses there. He's like, sorta, something. I don't know.
Don't know. He's been kind of standing at an angle from Shay this whole time. Like not like
Mhm.
directly imposing in front of her. But
She does look at
he
Mesmine at that when she's like, yeah, something, maybe. I don't know.
As you
I
guys
didn't see
are
anything.
talking here, you hear what is to Shayadress a very familiar whistle.
What?
It's sort of like a rising and then a falling and then a trill. It's not a sound that a bird would make. It is, in fact, the whistle that Shalelu uses when she's nearby.
Is there a like answering whistle Shaya does or could do?
Yeah, there's an answering whistle.
Yeah. Shaya does stops. Um and does the returning whistle.
expecting someone.
Ah, she's gonna be upset.
Who?
Shalelu.
Did Shalelu know this, Grizz?
No.
It's about then that you hear a knock on the door, and Shalelu actually is entering without bothering to see if anybody's inside, because why would she? She just never has any guests.
Yeah, why would she?
So Shalelu enters into this conversation, and as she's entering, she's talking. Shayadress, I'm so glad you're here. We need to speak about. I'm sorry. Am
Finish
I
your sentence.
interrupting something?
No.
No. You need to talk about what with Shayadress?
Shalelu kind of tilts her head at you, Ismark. You're that little manling that Baelor's hired on, aren't you?
They look a little indignant, just like manly. My name's Ismark.
Right,
And
manling. Impolite manling.
impolite. I'm. He
Now,
looks
I
back.
don't.
What does Shalelu look like? Because I have not been
Mhm.
introduced. Like, I mean, I imagine Sola knows Shalelu, but
So Shalelu is an elf. I believe she has art. Well, she does have art. Let me see if I can go grab it for you. But in the meantime, she is an elf in kind of green rangerish outfit. She's got a bow in a case at her side. She looks to be. It's hard to tell with elves, but she seems to be in about her 30s or so. She has the solid black eyes that elves tend to have in this setting. Uh, Blonde hair, very serious. Doesn't really like people all that much, but she hates elves more. She hates goblins way more. Way more. Let me grab her art.
I just want to say that all of my laughs. No, you know what? That was Shade. That was Shayadress laughs. All of those very
Manling.
loud.
Says fucking manling, and then Shayadress cackles at Ismark being called a manling, and he's just like, I'm manling? I'm 6 feet tall.
Yeah. He's taller than her, than Shayadress. And that's just fucking hilarious, man.
He is, in fact, slightly taller than Shalelu herself. But she still called him a manling.
Guess what is a manling?
She looks over at the gathered party, and Sola, you've probably like seen her once or twice, but Shalelu almost never shows up directly to you. Usually she addresses handling stuff for Shalelu. So you've only ever seen her in passing.
You thought Shadras was a recluse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the manling, he says, quote, using one hand to do air quotes, that helps Baylor town. You don't happen to know anything about anybody named Grease, do you?
Shadras' head snaps to Ismark.
Grease. Strange name, isn't it? Now, whatever the matter is, it can wait. There's pressing issues concerning those fecund little vermin.
Yeah, it can wait.
Mark's head snaps back to look at Shay.
Glare. It can wait. Oh! Points to Shalelu. You missed a goblin raid.
You expect to see anger on her face, but instead you see worry. I see, so I've arrived too late then. Well, there's still plenty to discuss, I'm afraid. And we will need to discuss it. I'm afraid I've never seen anything like this before, goblins. And as Shalelu settles in to tell her tale, that is where we will cut it for tonight.
I'm gonna end up forgetting my shit before I get to say it at this point.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to cut in?
No, because there's no reason. There's like no place to like fit in any of the shit.
I am so sorry.
Write it down. Write it down.
Write it down.
Put
Write
it
it
in
all
your
down.
in your fucking character chat. I know you got one.
I'm so sorry about that. Would you like to start off with you next time?
No, because it did like at this point, Sola is unless Shalelu's got some shit. Sola's like, okay, these guys are lost in their own sauce. And Sola's gonna wander off towards King again.
She's gonna wander off toward the cat, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's like okay,
Okay.
they're hunting down their own shit, so she's gonna handle her own shit again by herself again. It's like
That is very fair.
No.
I swear on me, Mum, if you don't type what you were gonna say down so that you don't forget, I'm gonna lose it.
I didn't mean to distract. I didn't expect to turn into fucking interrogation, which I should have expected. This is the fucking detective.
Standing in the room with the detective, and he hit on